Bonine52, how are you folks? Tell you what, if there's any downside to a motorcycle trip, it's that long ride home. And in this video, I'm going to give you the Bonine52 key tips to riding long distances. Stay tuned. Alright, so just to set this in perspective, I am actually on my way home from a weekend motorcycle trip, and it's about 300 to my house, and so that's not a long day or a 400 miler, but 300 to 400 miles for me is a long day of riding, or a good day of riding. Now, it may differ from you, so I just want to set it in perspective that for me, a 300 day to 400 day mile is a longer trip. So these are just the things that I like to do prior to and during a trip. And I'm really hoping on this one that you guys leave some comments about what maybe I missed that you do that may help people as they're preparing for a long ride. Because especially on the way home, even though you're still on a bike and it's great riding, it's a little bit different than when you're going to the trip. There's no doubt about it, at least in my mind. So I'm in some beautiful areas in Ohio right now, but it's a long, straight road most of the way through the state. So here's a couple things I do. So I will tell you that pre-trip, especially the day before, there's a couple things that I really try to do. Number one is usually mid to later in the day, I try to hydrate as much as I can, especially when I know that it's going to be warm. So today it's, 85 degrees, and actually it's beautiful, so it's not really hot, so it's not bad. But I do try to hydrate as much as I can with water. Water. That is usually what I try to do. Now, when I'm on the ride and I stop, I'm a Gatorade guy. I try to drink water, but I really like Gatorade because it kind of gives me that little juice when I may be a little bit tired or not as focused as I need to be. I think the other thing for me is sleep. When I'm tired, that's not good for me to drive. I don't think it's good for anybody to drive, but on top of me being grouchy when I'm tired, I just need to make sure that I get a 7-hour night. I'm normally a 5 to 6 hour guy at night anyway, but when I'm on a trip like I was today, or am today, I definitely want to make sure that I get some sleep the night before. Now, I will tell you, on the way down here, I made 2 mistakes before I left, and I'll tell them to you, because one of them you're going to go, dude, come on. But the first one was, I had so much going on the night before I left, I did not pack the bike. I decided to leave about 8:30, 9 o'clock, just from a traffic perspective, and I did not pack the bike. Now, away 3 days, there's not a whole lot of packing, an extra pair of jeans, some t-shirts and stuff like that, and did bring my laptop and some vlogging gear, but I did not pack before. So who wants to get up and pack? For me, when I'm going on a trip, I want to be able to get up, take my time, do what I want to do, but get on the bike and kind of go, right? So that was number one mistake. Not a huge mistake. It took extra 15 minutes, big deal, right? The second one was, and since I've had this road glide, one of the things that I like about it is it does give you the tire pressure settings. And I know we're supposed to check the tire pressure every time we go out, but I thought I did that, a while ago. And I guess it's been too while ago. And I'm like, the bike will tell me, right? So as soon as I get in the garage and fire up the bike or start to move the bike out, of course, both lights come on and say tire pressure warning. Now I'm like, yeah, so it's a little warm in the garage, and fortunately these newer bikes, the valve stem goes out the side, instead of up, so it's actually somewhat easy to put it in. I do have an air compressor, so it makes it a little bit easier, but, you get crap all over your hands, and you're like, all right, so I'm guessing I should have made sure that the bike was good to go before I went on the trip, which is what everybody should do, and this is Confession Time by Bonnie52, and pack the bike, because I probably took 30 to 45 minutes of time that I didn't want to, and it irritated me a little bit. I'm like, come on, dude, what are you doing? So I don't really think that was super smart of me, for sure. I think the other thing is, oh, by the way, I am in not the state of Ohio, but the state of construction, which you're going to see here in a minute. The other thing is kind of knowing your route. So, and I had this conversation with a buddy this weekend that I was riding with, and one of the nice things about the newer Harleys is they have the new boom box. And I was convinced that the new boom box was much better than the older one. And by the way, it is. It is a lot faster. There's no doubt. So I like it better. But I decided to map it to this destination in a GPX file. And then I downloaded into the bike, and of course followed that here. Well, it wasn't great, because I also had Waze going on my phone, and it just did not do a great job. As a matter of fact, and I guess I could have changed the route in the file, but I ended up having to go through Columbus, which, anytime you're going through somewhat of a big town with even more construction, it's not a lot of fun. So on the way back, which I'm on my way back now, I decided I'm just going to hit home. And it looped me around, because it was in a GPX file, I guess. And hey, I get it. I told it which way to go in the GPX file. It looped me around, and I did not even see any of the downtown in Columbus at all, which was good for me personally and good for my my time riding, because I'm a big U of M fan. If you don't know that, a Michigan fan. So go blue, and our rivals are Ohio State. So I joke a lot, but I got to tell you what, there's some amazing roads here in Ohio when you're not under construction. They are definitely pretty awesome. So I try to make sure I'm fresh. I try to hydrate. I try to make sure that the bike is packed and the bike is ready, which I'll be making sure I do from now on. And really just not, isn't that nice? Rushing yourself. So it opens up a lane for, 200 yards and then closes it again. So go figure. So that is kind of my get ready, right? And if I do all of that stuff, I'm starting off good. I'm starting off fresh. I do believe one thing I missed there is I like to eat breakfast before I go. I know a couple buddies, they actually will go out for breakfast right away before they get going. And to me, I want to get miles down. I want to get on the road. So when Mrs. Bodine and I go on a trip, we don't want to cook breakfast in the morning. We're both going. So what we'll do is we'll normally drive 80 to 100 miles, and then we'll stop and have breakfast. And it takes time, but it just kind of makes it nice for her and for me. So I also like to make sure that I don't eat too much food, so you get into a sleep buzz or sleep coma. But I definitely like making sure that I eat before I go. So, by the way, if you can leave in the comments, what do you guys think of the beautiful construction in Ohio? It's not so nice. And by the way, I've been pretty down on Ohio, but I just getting back from riding the triple nickel, and the roads out there are just flat out amazing. And I'm planning on coming back next year just for multiple days to not only ride so many roads I know I missed, but meet a lot of folks that not only have YouTube channels but follow my channel, live in Ohio, that we just couldn't meet with only one day. I do got to say that I was with my buddy and we stopped at a gas station in the middle of Ohio, and a guy came up to us that is, I'm going to leave a copy, or I'm going to leave a link to his channel, and it's right here, as well as his Instagram. And him and his wife were riding through and noticed both my buddy and myself, and Had a nice chat with them, and it's kind of funny. We're just dudes that ride a bike and talk to themselves, and it was a pretty humbling experience. But just wanted to give him a shout out because it was pretty nice. So as I get on the road, I will tell you, and today is a 300-mile day. I don't know if you guys have a target miles either for the day or for stops. So for me, I will tell you that I'm normally anywhere between, 80 and 90 miles. So right now I am 124 miles into my trip home, and I stopped at 90 miles, 88, 90 miles, something like that. And that was the time that I felt I really needed to stop, right? When I wanted to fuel up a little bit and top off, but I'm like, I think I really want to stop here, because at least for me, I can get into that. I'm a little bit in the zone, right? I'm a music guy, so I'll play music, usually have the shield up, and that keeps me going. But there's that point that you're kind of going, okay, I'm probably not as sharp as I should be. You know what? If you ride long rides, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's interesting though, when Mrs. Bodine and I were coming back from vacation, we rode like 110 one time, and we were like, we could have kept going. So maybe it's that you have somebody to talk to that makes it. But for me, it's right around 80 or 90 miles, and I think you just got to find that zone for you. And what is that? It may be 60, 70, it may be 150. And I think it changes. I think it changes per ride, right? Like I said, the one ride it was 110 miles, and on this one I needed to stop at 90. So I think being flexible is super important when you're also going on a long trip or a long ride for the day. And then I think the other thing is, when I talked about that is making sure that you're recognizing when you're tired, or when you're not as sharp and should get off the bike, and really not pushing yourself, because we know on a bike, on a car, sometimes you hit the little strips on the side and it shakes the car. On a bike, you have a couple seconds of not focused, and it could cost you your life. So. Or somebody else's. So you definitely don't want to do that. But definitely be interested in what you folks do on long rides to keep yourself going. It's easy to say stop, but there's so much else to it. And again, I think it's the other thing. And I've talked about this in other videos. Is just being smart, right? It's not going, okay, can I go 100 this time? I stopped at 90 last time. Just kind of challenging yourself. And I think that's cool, because I do that unless I get to that point where I know I'm like, okay, I should stop. I'll just stop, get a Gatorade, get water, fuel up, stretch. 10 minutes, you're back on the road, and it's not that big of a deal. I normally on these rides do not like to stop and have a sit-down meal unless I'm with Mrs. Bodine. Just to me, it's more of a time waster, and with a gas stop in 10 minutes, that usually is enough for me to get back on and definitely go, another 90 miles or 80 miles or 100 miles or whatever it is. So I would definitely be interested, though, as I do got to say, other than the construction, there is beautiful country in Ohio. But I would like to know what you do. One is, hey, what's your normal day like? And this isn't a bragging deal. This is just what's normal, because hopefully somebody can get something out of this for their next trip. Some people go 600 or 700 miles a day. I don't have that in me. God bless you, right? And some people may just go, hey, I'm going to go 200, but I'm going to stop. That's another thing. I think stopping at an attraction, or you see something on the side of the road like a park, and you go, hey, let's pull in there. So for me, I'm trying to eat up miles today to get back home at the end of the trip. But I think that really helps too, is if you kind of have a plan to stop during the day. And then I think having no specific timeline. Hey, yeah, I'd like to get there around 4 o'clock. If I get there at 6 o'clock, it's not the end of the world. If I get there at 3 o'clock, it's not the end of the world. I will tell you, though, when I'm planning, I do try to plan my time around major cities based on the day of the week. Today happens to be Sunday. I'm not as worried about traffic, but I do plan on the way out. I wanted to make sure I was by Columbus by 2 o'clock because I didn't want to get into Friday night traffic in Columbus. Even though I hadn't been there before, I just try to avoid it, so I try to time everything the best I can. So really interested, again, in what you think and what kind of tips that you have, what works for you, because what works for me may not work for you. But these are the things that at least make me feel a little safer riding, and would love to hear from you on all the stuff I just talked about, and give us some tips. Love to hear them. And I do appreciate you guys checking in the channel. For those of you that are new and this is the first time, hit the like button if you like the video, and check out a couple of them if you seem to like it and it hits and want to watch some crazy middle-aged guy on his Harley talk to himself. Hit the subscribe button. If not, we still appreciate you stopping by. All the rest of my friends, thank you for being regulars. I really appreciate you, and am truly humbled by it, and feel lucky to have so many friends. And in the motorcycle community, we're pretty lucky when you think about it. So be safe, everybody. Stay vigilant. Do me a favor, check on a friend. A lot of crap going around in the world. Somebody may need it, you not know it. A phone call could make a difference. Thanks, everybody. Be safe. From the beautiful state of Ohio, on one road with no construction, this is Bodine checking out. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye, folks.